Okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1. Okay, let's do it again. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the first inaugural, the first annual, I don't know what you will call it, the first ever weekly Brooklyn Popecast. I am Ron, and this is Blair.
Hi, I'm Blair.
And we are the Popes. And so we decided that we would start a podcast where we will talk about all manner of things, most of which we will not be qualified to talk about. And we just figured we would bullshit into the microphone. That's our plan.
Well, I mean, first of all of our friends have podcasts, and so I thought that we should have a podcast.
Which I agree with wholeheartedly. I'm a big fan of Megan and Keith's podcast. What are the roommate?
It's a good one. Adventures in Roommating. If you were a real friend, you would know that.
She puts them on. Anyway, so I don't get to I don't know the names of things. So we thought that a fun way to start our podcast would be to talk about what we do. So each of us, so we're in the music...
And why we have this podcast.
And why we have the podcast, yeah. So we're in the music business, and so we're going to kind of each describe what we think the other one does. And then I think we'll correct each other, is the idea.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so I will start. To me, Ron writes the songs. Ron sings the songs. Ron spends a lot of time in the studio and spends a lot of money making these songs. And, we did just start a label, so he helps me with that stuff too. Ron, what do you do?
All of that is true. I thought that it was going to be much meaner than that. I just assumed that you were going to say that mostly I take naps or something.
Well, you do take naps a lot.
That's true. I do take some naps. I get tired. It's hard making stuff up all the time. And so anyway, I'm a songwriter and a producer, and Blair and I have a new record label that we just recently launched. And so we do that stuff, and we're married, like I said. And so Blair is a music manager, and so she manages me and a number of other artists, and she's also the head of our label. And so mostly she sits in front of her computer, and then she frowns, and then people call her, and then she goes like, and that's by and large what your days look like to me. And then sometimes she goes to yoga.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty accurate. I don't think I need to expand on that too much. I guess what I really do, he's correct. I am a music manager, so I manage Ron among a few other bands, and we did just start our label together. So for that, we're in the very initial stages of doing everything. So I'm putting together all of the artist branding and who they are as artists. We're, figuring out press, and I work with our booking agents, and I work with all of our teams overseas who I love. And I do all of that. And I take the photos for basically every project we work on.
That's true. I forgot about that.
I do that.
I didn't forget, but I just forgot to mention it.
Yeah.
I did know that you did that.
I do that, yeah.
So anyway, we work in the music business, and we travel all over the world, usually together, sometimes separately, but usually together. And so we have been all over the United States together, both in a van and in a tour bus, in a little tiny van, like sitting like on top of each other, and with 8 guys. And we've been in a bus around America, and we've done the same around Europe, and we've been on tour in Australia, and we've been to Asia and a bunch of other kind of crazy things. We've been on a lot of adventures. We've been a lot of places. And so I think today's topic is going to be kind of in a broad sense. I guess today's topic is going to be relationships. But a lot of people ask us, because we work together and we're married and we're constantly together, how do you do it? I couldn't possibly do that if I was going to be around my wife all day, every day. People often say to us. And so,
Well, people say to me I couldn't be around my husband all day.
yeah. You know,
I think I'm pretty great, but
yeah, I think you're wonderful. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, a lot of people kind of ask us about that, and so I guess we're just gonna kind of we're gonna talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, that'll be our topic number 1 for this podcast. That's definitely the most or the biggest question we get from most people is, how do you do it? How do you not kill each other? How do you work together? How do you see each other 24/7 and make your marriage and your business work? So yeah, that's topic number 1. And so we'll go into that in a second, but I feel like we should tell everybody why they should listen to us. Well, I think they should listen to us. I think they should listen to us. If you're interested in the music business and the independent side of things, because we are an independent label. Ron's an independent musician. I am an independent music manager. So we know all sides of the music business. And we do know about labels too. So that's why we decided to run one. So if you are curious about that, then this podcast will be interesting to you. If you are a creative couple, this podcast will be interesting to you. If you want to start a business with your significant other, this podcast was for you.
I think that anybody that's interested in starting a business, this could be interesting too. I also think that in general, you know, because we travel a lot, and so that's going to definitely be a part of this. That's another kind of crazy, interesting thing I think that we do that's, you know, different than a lot of other businesses, certainly.
Yeah, and we will continue this podcast while we're on tour together next year. So you'll get to follow along with us in whatever crazy place we end up. So that's, you know, that's a cool thing, I think.
We once went to an Arby's in Spokane.
Ooh, get ready for that.
Yeah, so it's funny because I think when people imagine tour, especially like being inside of a tour bus, they're like, oh, it's so cool. Like, I remember the first time that we got on a tour bus, I was like, oh man, like, this is it. It's so cool. We made it. And then, you know, somebody farted in there and it smelled for the rest of the week. And it was just like, or somebody spilled pickles on one of the buses and it just smelled like pickles forever.
That was actually the worst, I think. Yeah. Anyways, we can go into that another time.
Bad smells on the tour bus could be a whole hour long.
I'm going to write that down. If you're watching us on YouTube, you will see that we actually have matching notebooks. It's pretty freaking cute. So I'm going to write that down. Bad smells on the tour bus topic.
That's an absolutely ridiculous thing, but it's real. And so, yeah, I think the traveling part kind of makes it a little bit more general, I guess. If, you know, even if you're not interested in the music business and even if you're not in a couple and all that, we kind of do a bunch of things. I don't know. We go a lot of places, and I think that's pretty cool. And I think the fact that you take pictures of everything is kind of cool.
I do like it. It started as a hobby, but it's turned into something I do on the side, and I do love it. I wish that I had more time to do it just for beauty purposes, you know, like to show the world, but I don't have that much time anymore because of all of these projects. So, but that said, I will take some awesome pictures while we're on the road. Because another side note that we didn't mention earlier, I also have a travel blog. I don't even know where I get this time in my day, but I do have a travel blog called travelsizeme.com, and it suffers a little bit right now because we, you know, just started that label, but...
And we also aren't traveling right now.
That's true, but I've been trying to make it more about, like, typical days and stuff, too. Like, I don't know.
That's true.
We'll see.
So, anyway, kind of, I guess at this point, for me, the reason that I wanted to do this was just generally to give people kind of a peek into our lives a little bit, because I feel like to some extent, a lot of kind of what we do every day and who we are is a little bit more private, I guess, than a lot of other artists. And I thought this would be kind of a neat way to keep, you know, to like open our doors up a little bit, but to kind of to keep it controlled and to keep it kind of a fun way to.
I mean,
chit-chat.
we've had a really good time getting to know a lot of Ron's fans through his street team, which if you don't know about, he has one. But they're such a cool group of people, and I was actually chatting with them the other day. They're like, we actually don't know that much about Ron's personal life. And I'm like, well, that might be a little by design, but we also don't want to feel like we have these giant walls up. So we thought that this could be a really cool way for fans to get to know Ron and really kind of understand what we do.
Mm-hmm. So, let's
get into it?
Yeah. So how do we not kill each other?
Yeah. Why don't we go through a typical day? Because I feel like a lot of people just have no idea what we do.
So, well, today was a fairly typical day, I would say.
Today was, okay, yeah. Typical is a little bit of a stretch because we don't really have typical days. If you are watching the video, then you saw that I did air quotes there. But our travel schedule doesn't really allow for that.
Yeah.
But today was one of the most regular ones we've had in a while.
Yeah, it's very rare that we are home for long stretches at a time. Like, right now, I think we're going to be here. We're in Tennessee right now. I think we're going to be here for a month.
Yeah.
Maybe. But usually we travel kind of like, even when we're not on the road and we're not really moving every day, we still travel a great deal. We end up traveling like at least a couple of times every month. We were in New York recording the two artists that we signed recently, Truitt and Tim Olstad. And so we were recording them and making a music video, and we went to Mexico for a private event the week before that. And we were in New York rehearsing before that. So we're just kind of always running around. But anyway, the typical day right now, while we're at home, and so we live back and forth between Nashville and Brooklyn. And so a typical day for us right now. So we got up at 7:30.
We got up around 7.
And we went
right to the gym.
And so in the 100-day countdown leading up to the tour, I'm also, like, I have to get as in shape as I can be, because every day on tour, like, my health and fitness just gets reduced exponentially. And so by the end of the tour, I'm always just like a disgusting mess. Like, I feel I'm sick.
No, that's not how it is.
I look bad and I feel bad, after a year on the road, it's often hard. And so anyway, so in the 100 days leading up to tour, I kind of always treat it like I'm in spring training or something, like, going to boot camp. And so that's what I'm doing right now. And Blair's always fit. And so we've been at the gym.
Yeah, so we go to the gym, then we come home, I get coffee and get right to work. Actually, what really happens is I wake up, check my phone, make sure there's no crazy emails that I have to respond to right then. If there is, then I get up right away and go answer those so I can have, somewhat of a clear mind when I go to the gym. Then go to the gym, work out, come home, literally get right to work then. Ron sits right here on this couch that we're sitting on. He has a desk, but I stole his desk chair, so he doesn't have one of those anymore. So I use his desk chair, and so I sit at my desk right over there, which you can't see, but I'm pointing to something.
Yeah.
So we get to work. Usually, we kind of work in our own projects. We have to-do lists that are completely separate of each other, but it's nice that we're next to each other, so I can yell at him if I need something from him. If I have a question that he needs to answer immediately, then he's right here. Otherwise, we just kind of do our own things until we start working on the label stuff, which again is pretty new. So we are still working through that stuff, but we do that. Then we go, usually we try to run one errand or something, so we leave the house, which is, I feel like, a really positive thing if you own your own business and you work from home.
Yeah, working from home, the easiest way to drive yourself insane, those are a couple of them. Working from bed is a really bad idea. Like,
never do that.
Don't turn on your phone when you're in bed and look at emails, or take your laptop in bed. It's just a recipe for disaster. And it makes it so you can never fall asleep at night, basically. And so that's kind of one big thing.
Yeah, so we do that. Yeah, we run an errand or two.
Yeah, we like to leave the house so that we don't go insane. We definitely spend a lot of the day, though, just kind of sitting here, going back and forth, doing... I mean, there's just so many tasks.
Yeah, our to-do list literally never ends. Ever. Our friend the other day said that he kept a to-do list on his phone, and it had like 3 items. I was like... Ugh, I'm so jealous of that. Like, literally mine never ends. It just, like, once I cross something off, there's automatically something to put back on, or 5 things usually, but that's okay. We're happy with that. So yeah, so we run an errand. I feel like we keep getting sidetracked. We run an errand, and then we come back and either have dinner out, or we've been trying to make dinner at home so that we make use of our new Nashville kitchen. And then at nighttime, we get on the couch and try not to look at our phones at all unless something is going on, like really try to shut off for at least a few hours before we go to bed. And then we go to bed and start all over again.
Yeah, so that's a pretty regular day. And in the middle of that, I'm also practicing to get ready to go back on the road. And so I'll sit and play guitar for a few hours when I can. Recently, I haven't really been able to do that because... there are demands on my time every minute of the day.
Yeah, sorry.
And so, so that's kind of, so what we do, is, it's pretty intense, I guess. And it's cool, I mean, because we get to do something that we enjoy and we're happy with. But it's definitely intense. And so I think that it's easy to get upset, I guess, in general. And so it's important to remember to kind of, for us at least, to remember not to take it out on each other.
Yeah.
I think.
Not to take it out on each other. Or if the other one is like having a really stressful time or day, or something isn't functioning properly and they do snap a little bit, to know that it's not personal. It's just like, well, I can see how that's super frustrating for him, so I'm not going to come back with a snap or something like that, because what's the point? we have to live and work together. So if we had a fight over every little thing that some people have fights over, then we would never get anything done.
You kind of have to learn to let it go.
Yeah.
I would say. And, you pick and choose what you're going to.
Yeah. I mean, I think that working together has definitely had an effect on how and when we fight. We just really don't that often. And if we do, it's about something pretty big, I feel like.
Yeah, you kind of, the only reason you could really fight is if you're really, really upset, I guess.
Yeah.
At this point, it's just, we're too busy.
We're too busy. And yeah, again, it's a function of us growing up, and we've been together for 8 years now. So we've definitely seen the other one grow and change. And I feel like, we've changed together. So it's, maybe that has something to do with it, but ultimately I think that it's the fact that we know that we are in a marriage and in a business, and neither of those things are changing. So what's the point of fighting?
Exactly. No, it's true.
That's the point. Like, I feel like you really learn that everything is just kind of just silly,
And at the end of the day, it just makes you kind of focus on things that are important, I think, on some level. Mm-hmm. But
yeah, so that's pretty much what we do to not kill each other. I would say that having a good routine, when you can have a routine, is a big help in that. And knowing when the other person needs some space, I don't know if we do that too much. I feel like that's something that they tell you. They're like, oh, when you can tell somebody needs some space, make sure you back off. But I don't know that we really can do that, so we don't too much.
No, it's true. We kind of always live on top of each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
But yeah, we really do spend 24 hours a day together, which I know most people say that they can't do. But we've made it work.
It's really about managing your reactions at the end of the day. It's like, you can't get mad about stupid little things. And that kind of should apply, I think, in every relationship. If you're trying to avoid conflict, it's like, there's no reason to yell at somebody about, whatever, I don't know, like they don't know what they want to have for dinner. Like that doesn't have to become an argument, no matter how frustrating it is. Like you can just say, I do a lot of that.
Yeah, it's, you just learn to figure it out, or we have. So I guess that's how we've been able to keep this up and, not kill each other.
That is true. That is how we have managed to not kill each other this far. I feel like in the event that you eventually murder me, like this is going to be some kind of some kind of piece of evidence,
weird evidence, that they pull out.
Yeah, no, it's like your defense is like, well, it's as you see here, she said she wasn't going to kill him.
Exactly.
I mean, I would prefer if you didn't kill me. Please don't. Thank you.
I won't kill you. I can't live without you.
Aww, everybody at home. Aww.
It's so lame. We're so lame.
So the neighbor's dog is going absolutely bananas right now.
Yeah, I don't know if you can hear that, but he is. And he's really annoying. Every time we walk outside, he kind of goes crazy.
It's true. I really like dogs. And Blair really likes dogs. But
I love dogs.
That's true. I don't know that I trust that particular dog, though.
Speaking of dogs, that's actually one thing that's changed in our relationship in the last couple of months. So I got a dog when I was in college, which is a terrible idea. So
don't do that. Yeah, don't get a dog.
Anybody that's thinking about doing that when they're in college, just don't do it. Just don't do it. So I got a dog in college, decided to move to New York after college, and dogs don't do so well in New York unless they are tiny, tiny dogs. So my dog is an Alaskan Husky. And so when we moved to Nashville, we were finally able to get her back. And I think that that's been one thing that has been really cool about our, the not killing each other in our relationship thing, is that she lives with us now. And so it's really fun to, take her on walks together and, take care of a thing together that's not a human, because that's just too much stress right now. For anybody listening,
Mom,
Grandma. So yeah, I think that that's been a cool thing. So I don't know, maybe that's the wrong message. Don't get a dog if you're having trouble in your relationship. But
no, that's a good message. Don't get a dog if you're having trouble in your relationship.
Well, I meant my message saying that a dog could help is not the right message.
No, a dog can't help.
That's not the message that I'm trying to say.
That's not her message. A dog can't help your relationship. Neither can a baby.
No.
Don't have a baby if you're unhappy in your relationship. Work
Except
your shit out.
That one couple we know. I'm just kidding. Ron looked at me like he was going to murder me. We don't know anybody like that. I was just joking.
No, seriously, yeah, no, that's one of those things I always find shocking. I find a lot of things shocking. I'm kind of I always feel like this, that I would be much better kind of quarterbacking someone else's life. It's impossible to have perspective on your own life. And so, if one of your closest friends who you trust could make all of your decisions, would your life have turned out better? Probably. Or maybe, at least maybe.
I don't think
At least maybe, I think, because you make a lot of decisions where you're like, oh, my heart tells me to do this incredibly stupid thing. And instead of doing that, you would have someone tell you, let's do this incredibly practical thing. Go to grad school instead of...
our lives wouldn't be what they are if we had somebody doing that to us.
That's true. I mean...
Imagine my friend's reaction when I told them that I was quitting my job, giving up my New York apartment, and getting in a tour van.
That's true.
What would they say? Actually, what did they say? They said, "Are you crazy?" And I said, yes, I was honest about that. But
yeah, no. I mean, and that's true. There's certain situations where, because that worked out, so it was cool. But there's lots of other stuff that happens that doesn't work out because you'd make a crazy emotional decision where if you were able to have some perspective, it's hard to get perspective. Perspective is not easy.
Nah. Yeah, no.
No.
So that's why we have this podcast, guys, because we have a lot of perspective and we are very wise.
I would say that I have really limited perspective, and I'm not especially wise, but I really love to pretend like I can solve other people's problems. I think that we should also we'll start taking questions, definitely,
Yeah.
and so that we can talk about stuff that you guys are interested in, whether it has to do with kind of any of the things we've mentioned or just anything at all, like.
Yeah.
I would talk about Mark Zuckerberg's haircut for an hour. I don't know. I mean, why not? If that's what you want, I would be willing to try that. I mean,
I would require some research, but I could do it.
Yeah, like I can't imagine. I'm closing my eyes right now. I'm trying to imagine it in my head. And I think I might be seeing Tom from MySpace. Remember Tom from MySpace?
Yeah.
I saw an article about Tom from MySpace the other day. Did you see
the Instagram one?
Yeah, I'm so happy about that. So Tom from MySpace is apparently out living the dream. And if you don't know about Tom from MySpace for some reason, Tom was like everybody's first friend. He's the guy who, I guess he started MySpace, Tom.
Yeah, he did.
And so when he sold it, he got like something like $500 million, I think. And so anyway, so now he's traveling around the world, taking pictures of awesome stuff and being rich.
Yeah.
Like, good for you, Tom. Get out there. God bless you. You were a good friend to me.
I love that guy.
I know.
He's like... like the hashtag goals that like that's what I'm doing right now, except in video form. I don't know. Is that a thing? Yeah. Whatever.
Tom.
I don't know technology.
Yeah, Tom is definitely a hero. I like it. That's because there's two kinds of tech guys. There's the tech guys that get the fortune and they're like, oh man, now I'm going to change the world and I'm going to do this other crazy thing. I started, this app where you have a potato and it dances across the screen. And then I started a social networking app and then I did this and then I did this and I want to keep it growing and I got this and I got that and now I have a dating site and
he was just like, damn.
He's
cool.
like, give me my money and I'm out.
Yeah.
And he's on a boat right now taking a picture of a glacier or something.
Yeah, and he has no idea that we're talking about him in this podcast, and he doesn't care.
Yeah, no, it's not gonna bother him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and like I respect all the other kind of tech idea. I guess the trying to save the world or change the way that people live their daily lives, but I really love the idea of. You came up with this ridiculous idea in your garage. You work on it for a couple of years, and then like the guy from WhatsApp, they gave him $19 billion. And
we're getting off topic. This is crazy.
I don't think it's crazy at all. I think we're talking about our views on the world.
Okay.
But you keep going.
No, it's okay. The guy from WhatsApp got $19 billion. Go on.
No.
All right. So, maybe before we actually do kill ourselves on our first podcast where the topic is how to not kill your spouse when you live and work together, we should, what should we do?
I don't know. I was talking about the WhatsApp guy, but you didn't love that. And so I thought that you had a plan for a different place to go.
Well, my plan was to see if we could tie all this together.
I could tie it all together.
In a neat little bow. And then we will tell people where to find us on the internets.
Oh, on the World Wide Web?
Yeah.
World Wide Web, yeah.
On the web.
Well, I would say this. Whatever you're doing in the world, whether it's... Stay with me. Whether it's making music or any kind of business or crazy multi-billion-dollar e-commerce, brought it in. Whatever you're doing, if you do it with a great deal of gusto and you enjoy it and you make it, if it's important to you every day, then that's kind of the point of life, I think. So that what we actually did was at the end of that, what I just did was explain.
How does that tie any of this
explain
together?
the meaning of life. How long have we been doing this? About a half hour. So in a half hour, what I did was I took what we were doing and then I talked about Tom from MySpace a little, and then I explained the meaning of life.
Yeah.
Which,
that definitely ties it all together.
No, I mean, at the end of the day, I couldn't have said it any better myself, and I did just say it myself.
Yeah. So, okay. Yeah, lesson number 45 or whatever we're on. One way to not kill your husband is let him go on his little rants. Like, figure out where he's going with it. And then, maybe it'll tie back together, but it probably won't. And just accept it. Just accept.
It probably won't. And that's fine. And so you can find us on the internet.
Yes, you can find us on the internet. Our label is Brooklyn Basement Records. And so that will be brooklynbasementrecords.com. And all of our social media sites are connected to that. Ron is a musician. You can find him at
ronpopemusic.com. And our website for this is
something that we don't know yet.
Oh, I didn't realize there wasn't a website.
We don't have a website yet, but we will by the time that this is posted. So it will be in the comments or the description below, whatever the hell we call that these days.
Yeah.
It'll be in the description along with the email address where you can send questions because we would love to hear from you guys. Tell us what you think. Tell us if we should keep doing this.
Yeah.
If this is totally dumb.
If you like it. Actually, don't tell us if it's totally dumb, because we're going to work out the bugs if there are bugs.
Well, tell us what the bugs are.
Yeah, tell us what you don't like, I guess.
Tell us what you don't like. Tell us if you like Ron's hair in a bun, or if you want it down.
It's hot. I want to keep my hair like this.
Tell me if I should put my hair up. I don't even know.
What if we did matching buns next time? This is like the radio, though. I don't know if you know about that.
Well, you can listen to the radio version first, and then it'll go on YouTube.
Internet. Yeah,
that's how the internets work these days.
Oh.
So, yes. So that stuff will be in the description because we have to go and purchase a domain right now.
So thank you all for listening, and we will talk to you again soon. Brooklyn Popecast. Thank you.
Later.
And I'm out.